Back in the Buzz podcast, coming to you with another comic book review. Of course, we got my main man. I ain't saying, I'm just saying, Mr. Theo B. Along for the ride.
What's cracking? What's percolating? What's really good in the hood?
And today we are reviewing the second installment to Eve Ewing's Photon number 2. It's Monica Rambeau. Kind of gave away the pooch there a little bit on what was going to happen in the book from the cover, because it was just as erroneous as that picture in terms of their appearance in the book. But anyways, we start off. Monica Rambeau awakes from a little napping spell on the deck of the Willie Mae speedboat out there. From the dialogue, it sounds like she's off of the coast of New Orleans somewhere. Right. She's talking about, hearing the bells and letting her know that she's home and all that other stuff. What's peculiar about the situation, though, is that she does not know how she got there.
I don't know how she got there either.
I was at the end of last issue, right? She took off. She says that a little bit, right? She went out far for a little air, and then, she wakes up on the deck of a boat that she didn't remember driving out. So, I
had to go back because I don't think I've ever, I think we didn't all went and got in the car, tired. You know what I'm saying? I think me and you both did that, fell asleep at the wheel, but still wind up getting to the house. But we remember parking.
Let me fix that, I guess. So, like, you get in the car, you just start driving, you end up somewhere, and you don't know how you really got there, type thing, right?
Well, no, I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Okay.
High school, Clayton, not courting, Clayton. And you got to be home at a respectable time, so you leave her house at a respectable time. And back then, the respectable time wasn't 10. Back then, the respectable time was like 11 o'clock. You got to get to school, you go to school the next day, so you driving home 9 miles. You 9 miles from her house, and you fall asleep at the wheel. And you don't know how you've been driving, but you didn't woke up turning down your road. And you be like, oh, you... Okay. So he didn't take it to a whole nother level, because I'm like, I know daggum good and well.
Yeah, regardless of just popping up, you know what I mean, where you didn't expect to be. I don't know about not remembering starting the car, you know what I'm saying, or not remember taking the boat out. It's setting the stage for something bigger, obviously, where something's going on, and kind of giving us clues throughout the book that something else is at play here, but that's just one of many. Right, she kind of gets called into action here off of her awakening, and it's a comet that's coming in fast to New Orleans. So she flies up, she changes herself into the same type of energy that the comet is giving off, so that she can go into it.
I think she, basically made herself immaterial, because that's one of the things in her wheelhouse, and right. She phased inside of it. What got me was like, you couldn't phase out.
She gets stuck inside of it. Right? And she starts talking about this hold that it has on her, how she's not able to get out of it, and how familiar it is. Right?
Yes.
How she kind of remembers that pull for some reason. So in the midst of her going through that, she lands in the water.
I think her articulating it, Miss Ewing, it kind of reminds me of whenever Aurora starts talking about being claustrophobic and everything like that. I think she did a good job in rehashing Monica's concerns, having to talk herself through it, calm down, breathe, and everything like that. To me, it added a sense of realism to it, because she has been through a traumatic experience once before in reference to the war. So she's doing a great job. I'm not going to say making the character hers, because she's not making Monica Rambeau her character, but she's doing a great job of embracing who the character is.
She's establishing an archetype, like she's establishing a personality where one has kind of been lacking up until the latter parts of last year and now with the solo series. So she's establishing a persona in Monica Rambeau. She's establishing something to be repurposed and rehashed and redone. I saw y'all UND Real on Chillmonger's stream where y'all talking about John Ridley and some of the characteristics that have gotten deteriorated from that character on that run. This is kind of the antithesis of that. right? They're building upon things that have come before, and they're using it as an example of what this character is for writers to come.
What I will say is this, and she's doing a great job. I can't thank her enough for doing it. For lack of better terminology, she's building upon what came before her. And that's how you keep the character going, the legacy going, the story. That's how you world build with the character. One of the things that I was looking at today, and just one of my frustrations in regards to it, I know we talk about T'Challa ad nauseum and everything like that, is that two things. They say if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. That's what they've been saying since I was a teenager. The other thing, crabs in a barrel mentality. That's been said since I was in high school. I look at the black writers and I sat up there and I took note. I was like, well, Reginald Hudlin didn't necessarily visit upon what Christopher Priest did. Okay. Well, Ta-Nehisi Coates didn't really build upon what Reginald Hudlin did before him. All right. John Ridley's not really touching on what either of those writers did before him. So it's almost like, and we've seen it because right now I'm rereading Black Panther comic books, and it's no different than with Monica Rambeau. The writers don't get invested into the character. Unlike with Photon, Monica Rambeau, Miss Ewing is coming upon and she's building upon what already came before. She's doing a great job to me, and she's giving me goosebumps, making me remember stories that I read when I was in high school, that I read when I was in my 20s, in regards to the character Monica Rambeau. This is Monica's history. We get writers with T'Challa. It's like every new writer that comes on board gets rid of his history. So he's having to start over from scratch over and over and over again. It's like, I'm not going to say somebody can't write whatever it is that they write, but somebody that writes drama isn't necessarily the person that can write comedy. The person that can write comedy is not necessarily the person that can write science fiction. Just because you wrote an Academy Award-winning film about slavery and everything like that does not mean you can be a writer when it comes to comic books. First, you got to care. I can tell with the first issue that Eve Ewing cares about Monica Rambeau. With the first issue, Marcus, you and I both read. We did a comic book review of the first Black Panther comic book by John Ridley, and we had concerns during the first issue whether or not this dude actually cared. The first issue, and it got worse after that. From the first issue, so much to the point you don't even want to read the comic book anymore. But with Miss Eve Ewing, a black woman, let's clap it up for her. It's not an exception. She's not the exception to the rule. She's a person who cares. You can tell either she read Monica Rambeau when she was young, or she brushed up on her history before she took pen to paper to write the first comic book. Going forward, when you write these black characters, any minority character, if you don't care enough to do what Miss Eve Ewing has done, stay away from the POC character.
For sure. I agree. It's becoming a thing of Monica passing out and waking up on the deck of the Willie Mae, which is a bit of a tell that something's going on here. Every time she goes unconscious, she ends up back on the set of that boat. So something or someone seems to be the trigger for that reset. They're going to give some more clues as to who exactly that is. So now she awakes to this person offering her a hand, calling themselves the Beyonder, in a much different makeup than what we're accustomed to seeing from her.
He looked like a cross between Michael Jackson and Prince.
So like at certain times, it looks like they were presenting as a man. Then you scroll further, it looked like they was presenting as a woman. I don't know if that was purposeful or not, but I did pick up on it. Yeah, very flamboyant. Very flamboyant. They got the metallic fingertips, the gold shawl. It's a lot going on there.
When the first Beyonder came out in the 80s and he had the big old things on his shoulders and everything like that, I was like, are y'all trying to make him after Michael Jackson? And this was when Michael Jackson had the curly hair, and I think he did like the little spaceship thing or whatever, like one of his music videos. And so now looking at this dude, I'm like, because regardless of whether or not they painted the Beyonder as Caucasian, he had a Jerry curl. Everybody just need to know that that was a Jerry curl back in the day. So I'm looking at this dude like, is you supposed to be a cross between Prince and Michael Jackson? Like, and y'all not gonna fake it with the skin complexion this time. Y'all gonna go all the way in and make him brown. Okay. Somebody gonna be wearing this same outfit at the next Academy Awards. Watch what I tell you.
Man. So they're definitely presenting the Beyonder in a different, variant than what we've been accustomed to. They, probably most accurate, they're trying to convince Monica that, I didn't do none of this. I just popped up here. You pulled me. I felt your presence from, eons away, and it drew me through a hole, right? A chasm in a reality. Now, if we remember back to the first issue where they were talking about Monica's ability to create pocket universes, it's starting to connect some of that, right? From what the Beyonder is telling her, which leads you to believe her a little bit. But these next bit of shenanigans is kind of putting some doubt in it because, the Beyonder likes to play. So on the very next page, we get a shot of the 80s version. This is the first new Avengers lineup. We got who we got? We got She-Hulk, Captain America, Thor, Dr. Durig, and Black Knight. What iteration of the Avengers is that?
This is shortly after Monica joined the team. This is shortly after her Spider-Man angle and everything, her show up in Spider-Man angle. Because after Spider-Man angle, she got like a one issue limited series or something like that. And then she showed up in the Avengers, and shortly after she showed up in the Avengers, Steve Rogers, he's not really on that team because he actually quit, if I'm not mistaken, and told her she was fit to lead. But that's the team that she was on though.
That's it. Okay.
But to your point, they got Black Knight's helmet looking different because he's actually had three different helmets. They actually have his helmet looking different on the inside than they do on the outside, and they got Thor looking different. You alluded to that on the outside.
Yeah, Cap got the leather straps on the shield. That's OG. They got the OG She-Hulk outfit. I don't know when the last time I seen Dr. Durig doing anything.
We've seen him in a minute, but watch this. What they have on the outside, like Thor's helmet and everything like that, is because he got into a fight, and I can't remember who wounded him, but his face was jacked up so that helmet was more along the lines for protection, more so than anything else. But yeah, they definitely flipping it. Somebody is playing some games. I don't know. Dr. Druid is sticking to his character, though. He's questioning Monica at every turn. And he did that when they were both part of the Avengers. Every turn.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that the person who betrayed her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
He had it in for her from day one. Which is I'm surprised he ain't swing on him this time around.
No, the tension is there. It's definitely felt. They have a couple times where they have some exchanges here.
His character never took off. He was just a cheap replacement for Doctor Strange.
That's what it feels like. It feels like he's a stand-in for the Sorcerer Supreme. Not gonna lie.
That's what it was back then. That's why his character never took off. Nobody, like, the reason why no one ever got behind Gilgamesh on the Avengers, it was like, we got Thor, they gave us Hercules, and you see how we feeling about him, not really at all. And now you finna give us another Thor clone in Gilgamesh, and you giving us this ugly costume. And then the Eternals, what's been done with the Eternals now is a whole lot different than what was being done with the Eternals when Gilgamesh was on the Avengers back in the day. Like, he wasn't that great of a character.
So the Beyonder looks like they're getting bored at the moment, so she transports them right into the middle of the French Quarter, or not, Bourbon Street, maybe, somewhere downtown New Orleans.
On the ship.
Yep, on the ship. Yep, along with the ship.
Yeah.
And then simultaneously, a giant alligator pops out of nowhere and starts attacking the civilians, and so the Avengers got to go off. Monica's kind of in the middle of all of this, kind of reconfirming what she already thought. The Beyonder is in charge of all of this. Like, let's just do away with this, right? So they go to a quiet place, her and the Beyonder, and they begin to discuss what's going on with Monica and how she got there. She's kind of discussing how she, you're presenting different to me You're coming to me in a different light, but I know who you are. I know what you do. So I'm not about to let you jump into my head with all this psychobabble, which makes what actually ends up happening at the end of this book even more funny, because you can see she's trying to like come up with explanations that aren't her. In all of this, Beyonders here, we got the OG Avengers team that I was part of, you know what I'm saying? It's all this stuff that ain't supposed to be like this. This ain't me. I ain't trying to hear that, right? But it everything that's happening along the way is kind of knocking at that. It's kind of poking into that story.
I can't lie. I know it's something that where we got the Beyonder, and I referred to the Beyond as non-binary because I was like, I'm not gonna try and hurt my head and try and figure out what to call. I'm just gonna call it Beyond non-binary. But it's a story from what I'm seeing right now that has something to do with shifting between time and reality. Mm-hmm. Why she's fixated on this specific group of Avengers, because she's been on the Ultimates, had a more successful run on the Ultimates than what she did on the Avengers. I think she's made peace with her time on the Avengers since the traumatic experience that she had with Dr. Druid, and I forget the young lady's name that was Namor's wife at that point in time, but she's made peace with that. Like, she's came a long way since then, so I'm still interested to see where we're going after the story. Yeah. But right now, I can tell you that I'm confused. We have a non-binary Beyonder. We have Dr. Druid, who is still questioning her. I would say even more so than he did, because we're not thinking that this is real. Yeah, we're not thinking this is real. So not when it actually happened during the timeline, but he's actually more aggressive this time around, which Monica ain't having it because she's more mature this time around. So there's no clear-cut villain.
Before we get to Druid, we do have the back half of that conversation with the Beyonder and Monica. There's an interesting panel on there. First of all, you on that one when she's doing like the movie reel, that's what I mean. Like, it looked like she went from presenting male to presenting female. Like that's it's the same face, but it's a different face. You know what I'm saying? When he first pops out, you got a strong jawline.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes. You got a chin.
Yes.
You pop over to the back where she doing this movie reel. That's a different person.
I wasn't gonna hurt my head. I had to look.
Hey, no, but it is a funny. It's a very clever way of if that's what you're gonna do. That's a clever way of putting it into the book without saying, "Hey, everybody, look at me." It's a very subtle way, and if you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you just didn't. You didn't rave on the internet about it for an hour. You know what I mean? Calling it woke.
Watch this. You ready? And this is what I love about you and I doing these comic book reviews. You have, how old are you?
30. Well, I'll be 30 on January 29th.
Congratulations. Happy early birthday. So you got a 30-year-old and you got, I'll be 55. So it's like we coming from two different generations and everything like that. So it's like an older dude, younger dude, and we dealing with modern stuff. And it's like, okay, all right, yeah. Okay, not because I'm like you. I saw the strong jawline earlier in the book, and then I saw the rounded jawline later on. But I was like, so, and I literally said to myself, "Oh, so we going for non-binary?" Because I'm not gonna try and get it wrong.
Gotta be. But it was just subtle. You know what I mean? There was no flag waving. It was there. But I see it, and I acknowledged it. It's fun.
Didn't take away from the story at any point whatsoever. So great. If that's what they're going for, I'm like you. If that's what you're going for, hey, I'm reading. I'm going with it.
But the reason why I was pointing that out though is because she kind of goes back through Monica's memories to a death of a professor that she had, where he was kind of seeing her future as he's going away. Energy is flooding in from another universe, breaking down the wall between worlds. That sounds like that little pocket universe stuff that Monica's able to do. You know what I mean? So some prophecy here to what is to come from Monica. She does, like you said, she starts arguing with Druid. He brings up the fact that her parents are dead and she may be delirious because of that. And that is the first cue to me that confirmed we was in a different universe. That it wasn't just some, machination from the Beyonder. We were in a different universe. She was at least telling the truth about that. or they were telling the truth about that. So the next confirmation is what you get on the very next page, where homeboy hop out the house talking about, oh, honey, you brought your work friends home for the first time. Thanks. We got Stedman of the Marvel Universe over here, Jericho Drum, as her husband in whatever universe this is. Brother Voodoo is married to Monica Rambeau.
You know they was an item. They were an item. They was kicking it before.
Married though. Married.
I didn't say that. It's one of them things where I sit here, myself and Mr. Ray Smith was talking, and you know how Brother Ray Smith feels about certain stuff. So when we start talking about relationships in comic books, it's like, okay, hold on. She was with Blue Marvel. Mm-hmm. You went above and beyond to let it be known in issue number 1, they were no longer an item.
I don't know if it was above and beyond, but she did establish that they was on the outs. She did.
Yeah. Mom got to talk about it. Dad got to talk about it. Dad says, well, I ain't want you with him anyway because he kind of old. So is your daughter. Like, both of them are damn near immortal. Like, your daughter
saying that, though, at that early in the book is kind of like a tale that they're going to come back around to that at some point. Especially the fact that the mom actually likes Adam is kind of like a hint towards, all right, we'll park this for now because it's Monica's book, but we're going to come back around.
And I watch this. The only reason why I can say I don't know is because when we speak comic books, who blacking in a relationship? Marvel.
That's true.
Who Aurora single, T'Challa single. Well, I know Luke Cage is supposed to, I know he has a daughter with Jessica Jones, but we don't even see them together. Okay, well, Bishop, Shaw. Well, we don't even know where Shaw at. Roberto DaCosta, Sam Wilson. It's like she get her comic book, and the first thing we want, and this, like I said, to me was just odd. Her first issue, and the first thing we want to let it be known is she's no longer with the black dude anymore. I don't know who decision that was.
So I'm gonna give her a little bit of bail on that because I think the relationships that have not perpetuated themselves so far in Marvel Comics, yeah, you can lay a lot of that to the feet of the individual writers who chose to write it that way. Let's compare the Storm and T'Challa relationship to what we're talking about right now with Adam Brashear and Photon. So with Storm and T'Challa, they're writing in things that no ordinary day-to-day couple would overcome. So it feels natural that they shouldn't be together. Their relationship is toxic. They love each other, but they just can't be together because it never works. They just end up hurting each other. That's written. That's not real. That's put in there purposefully. Is that what we're getting right now out of Eve Ewing? It's too early to tell because I don't think she's completely cut off that relationship.
Watch
and the fact that she put him with another black man in this pocket, this different universe, lets me know she on the right wavelength, that she's not on no, I just don't want to see them together for the sake of not seeing black couples together, which is exactly what I think it is for T'Challa and Storm. So in that instance, I'm willing to give her a little bit more room with this story that she's telling than that of a Ridley or Coates or whoever else has been detrimental.
I'm giving her the room because like I said, she's done some exceptional work. I just got a question because, okay, this book came out in 2022, right? Photon came out in 2022. They started advertising it mid-2022. Hey, be on the lookout for it. Well, what else were they advertising in 2022, mid-2022? A brand new Thunderbolts team. Who was on that brand new Thunderbolts team that was asked to be the leader of the Thunderbolts team, but turned it down? It was Monica Rambeau. What was she wearing as part of her costume in that Thunderbolts team?
But
Blue Marvel's.
Theo, okay, so track back through what we've said about Eve Ewing so far in this book. She pays attention to canon.
Let me finish.
She builds upon what's already been done. So why would we not give her the benefit of the doubt that she's going to continue that here?
I didn't say I wasn't giving her the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I'm pointing out something. We went above and beyond to say that Monica Rambeau, when I say we, I'm talking Marvel. You went above and beyond to say she was on a brand new team. You went above and beyond, because we ain't got to write it like that. You went above and beyond for the leadership position to be flaunted in front of her, and she turns it down arbitrarily. You made it known. We as the common reader aren't looking for this. You made it known that that was Blue Marvel's jacket she was wearing as part of the Thunderbolts. Okay, well, I ain't trying to be funny, but there ain't that much time between her, and she might still be a member of the Thunderbolts for all we know. Her being on the Thunderbolts and her being right here. I give her the time, Miss Ewing, the time and everything like that. I do. I'm just asking myself, because I'm asking myself, we haven't seen Monica in a long time get her own story. And some of us feel like she should have gotten her own story a long time ago to have her own comic book series. Why was it that one of the things we talk about in reintroducing this character to the general populace? Why is one of the things we got to talk about is her relationship status? I'm just asking the question, because if we've been saying this and we can articulate that these characters, minority characters, have an issue being in long-term relationships, I'm not saying she's doing anything out of the ordinary. I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. She could very well. This is more of a question not for her specifically, more for Marvel. What is it that you got going on with the POC characters? You got something going on where they either can't be in a relationship, or you flipping them in and out of various relationships. Who is Misty Knight with right now? She was Sam Wilson. Pick something. Like, give me a relationship.
That's her dude though, right? That's
supposed to be.
Misty Knight and Sam been the thing, haven't they?
Watch this. We can't tell as a black reader, a person of color. I'm like this. Give me something like what Sue and Reed got. Like, give me something like give me something like what Lois and Clark got. Give me something like what Bruce and Selena, Bruce and Damien's mother got. Give me something like that.
I'd settle for the love triangle of Logan, Scott, and Jean. I'd settle for that. And that point, I do get where you're coming from, right? Yeah, why does it even have to be a thing where her core relationship that's key to her lore has to be on the fritz at any point? Just like Sue and Reed and all those other ones. Like Tony and Pepper, yeah, I get it. And even when they do that to one of their characters, they hate it. Right. They not messing with Step Wells right now and Peter Parker while him and Mary Jane is on the outs. They're not messing with this stuff. They don't like it. You would think them having that much information or that much data on that, they would kind of steer away from taking the titular love away from the protagonist. But it doesn't seem to go that way.
How many people that's rocking with us right now know that her and Jericho used to actually be in a relationship? Like, me and you know they used to be in a relationship. Yeah. We know this. You broke them up. It's such an abstract character. He could have been Monica's boyfriend and never show up in comic books with her, and we would just know he was her boyfriend, because he abstract. He don't get no play like that. But you broke him up. You broke him up and did what? Because you ain't really had no reason to break him up. Because we're not going to break up Doctor Strange and O'Girl. We're not breaking them up.
Yeah.
We're not. Whether she show up in the comics or not alongside Stephen Strange, we know that's his girlfriend. He ain't finna mess with nobody else. So it's like, you go through issue 1 to show me she done broke up with somebody. Didn't need that to tell me issue 1, because kind of like how somebody talked about with Anika and Okoye, if you don't write it in there, that comic book still stay the same. If you don't write that part that she broke up with Adam Brashear in the comic book don't change. The story don't change. Now you got it in here with Jericho. But me and you don't even know why she broke up with Jericho. We don't. We don't know why she got with him. And we don't know why she broke up with him. You just put two people together and then you just broke them up. Why can't you tell a story about black people, black superheroes being in a relationship and give them the same benefit of the doubt that you give their lighter skinned cohorts? So to me, that's just the thing. Like, we don't, even with Scott Summers and Jean Grey right now, we don't even talk about, they just show up in the comments. We know they're in a relationship, but they don't talk like it. And then
it's kind of like an automatic thing. They're automatically joint. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, everybody can't have that. Then it kind of deteriorates those special ones. But if we just talking about what it looks like in Marvel publication, it looks like that type of relationship is exclusively white. And that's just what it. And I'm not just talking about the lack of black relationships. Who Shang-Chi be kicking it with? You know what I'm saying? Who Moon Knight be religiously with? Who is his long lost love? Who all of these otherized characters? It's a very exclusively white thing to have a star-crossed lover that never goes away. And then when you do, the fan base revolts, just like what's happening with Spider-Man right now. So
Adam Brashey didn't even have to be brought up in this series. I'm just gonna say it like that. We didn't even have to mention him in this series.
If he wasn't gonna be a part of it, which I think that's smart. If we're reintroducing Monica, and we're trying to reestablish her origin or what she's gonna be in this, in 2023 in comics, it's good for her to get the maximum amount of panel space. Like, she should get the maximum amount of attention. So putting that's what I took that little conversation as, is like, hey, look, I know who Adam Brashear is, but we're going to deal with Monica for now. We'll probably circle back to that. But if that's what it was going to be, you didn't even have to have that conversation. You're right. It didn't have to give the veneer of, oh, well, they arguing again. Go figure, Yeah,
it's like that's my whole thing. Because, we read comics and Black Lightning.
Yeah.
His wife ain't showing up in the comic books like that. She ain't showing up like Logan.
In the comic books, okay, so he had a wife and 2 daughters, but then in Young Justice he pops up and he has no wife. He's falling in love with Dr. Jace, and he has no daughters. His black daughter's gone. Poof. Why? Why was that the liberty you took to take with the canon? To erase his marriage and his children?
Wait, watch this. Which was funny, because you know how we found out he was Black Lightning's brother-in-law? It was on Young Justice. That's how we found out he was black. Wait. But then you got him cheating on his wife in the latest season, in the season before this one, the Young Justice.
Well, is he cheating? Does he have a wife? Does he have a family?
They separated, yes. Yes.
No, Theo. No, they don't. In the cartoon, he's cheating on his wife in the children's cartoon?
They are separated. I'm gonna say it one more time. They are separated. He is having marriage difficulties.
You gonna make me rewatch this series because I felt like he just kind of popped up by himself. I didn't remember him having a family.
I pick up on stuff like that and I just don't say nothing. I be like, okay, all right. But cause it's real. Your wife, y'all separated. You a great dad. Y'all separated. You stay over here, you stay over there. It's not impossible out the realm of possibility.
He was taking care of them kids from Latvia or wherever they came from more than he was taking care of his own kids in Young Justice. Anyways, not a Young Justice video. We wrapped up this comic book a minute ago. But tell us what you thought about it. Make sure you drop it in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. Come back for more comic book reviews. Thank you very much, Theo, for coming on.